Nestled in a picturesque countryside, the barn stood as a symbol of tranquility, surrounded by sprawling green pastures and the gentle whisper of the wind. The rustic wooden structure, weathered yet charming, housed a small collection of horses, each with its own unique personality. The homeowner, a devoted equestrian, took great pride in this serene space, often spending weekends tending to the animals and enjoying their company. The barn was more than just a shelter for horses. It was a sanctuary, an escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Sunlight streamed through the spacious windows, illuminating the hay-strewn floor and casting soft shadows against the walls. Outside, the sound of hooves clopped against the ground as playful horses roamed freely in their paddocks, embodying freedom and grace. However, this peaceful haven was about to be disrupted by an unwelcome visitor. Karen, a self-proclaimed influencer known for her obsession with social media aesthetics, had been searching for the perfect backdrop for her next set of selfies. Spotting the barn from the road, she envisioned herself framed against its rustic charm, surrounded by beautiful horses, a moment that would surely garner likes and shares. Ignoring the no trespassing signs and disregarding any sense of privacy, Karen approached the locked gate. With a determined spirit fueled by her quest for internet fame, she climbed over the barrier, her heart racing with excitement at the thought of capturing the perfect shot. Little did she know that her impulsive decision would soon lead to an unexpected encounter with one of the barn's more temperamental inhabitants, setting off a chain of events that would turn her social media dreams into a comical nightmare. Karen was the quintessential HOA member, known in her community for her overzealous attitude towards rules and regulations. With a perfectly manicured lawn and a penchant for organizing neighborhood meetings, she prided herself on maintaining the aesthetic of her suburban enclave. But beneath that polished exterior lay a fierce desire for attention, especially in the realm of social media. As an aspiring influencer, Karen was constantly on the lookout for the next opportunity to showcase her life's perfect moments. Her Instagram feed was adorned with snapshots of lavish brunches, meticulously arranged outfits, and picturesque locations, each photo carefully curated to project an image of a glamorous lifestyle. However, there was a gap between her online persona and reality. Karen often overlooked the boundaries that others found essential. With a camera in hand and a flair for dramatics, she relished the idea of capturing her latest adventure. On that fateful day, while scrolling through her feeds, Karen stumbled across an image of a rustic barn with horses grazing in the background. The thought struck her. This could be the perfect backdrop for her next viral post. The allure of the barn's charm overshadowed any sense of propriety or respect for private property. Fueled by excitement and a sense of entitlement, Karen set off without a second thought about the consequences. Ignoring the signs warning against trespassing, she envisioned herself posing with horses, each click of her camera drawing her one step closer to online fame. In that moment, she felt invincible, unaware that her antics would soon lead to an unexpected encounter with one of the barn's residents, forever altering her social media journey in ways she could never anticipate. As Karen approached the barn, her heart raced with excitement. The sight of the rustic structure, framed by gently swaying trees in an open field, filled her with a sense of adventure. Ignoring the no trespassing signs that dotted the entrance, she imagined the perfect selfies she could capture within those walls. With her phone held high and a grin plastered across her face, she was ready to make memories, or so she thought. After a quick glance over her shoulder to ensure no one was watching, Karen climbed over the locked gate. The creaking metal echoed through the stillness, but she brushed aside any apprehension. Once inside, she felt a rush of thrill as she stepped into the barn's warm embrace. Sunlight filtered through the windows, casting golden rays on the hay-strewn floor and the horses that roamed within. With her phone at the ready, Karen began snapping photos, posing with each horse as if they were her closest companions. She giggled at their curious expressions, believing they were just as enamored with her as she was with them. The soft whinnies and gentle nuzzles from a few of the horses only encouraged her to get closer for that perfect shot. However, Karen's enthusiasm soon clouded her judgment. She spotted a striking horse in the corner, a beautiful creature with a glossy coat and intense eyes. Eager to showcase its beauty to her followers, she crept closer, completely unaware of its temperamental nature. With her camera flashing right in its face, she failed to recognize the warning signs of agitation in the animal. In that moment, Karen's reckless disregard for boundaries would come back to haunt her. The horse, feeling cornered by this sudden intrusion, prepared to defend itself in an unexpected and dramatic way, setting off a chain reaction that would leave Karen's selfie dreams in tatters. Karen, fueled by the thrill of her unauthorized adventure, wasted no time diving into her selfie session. She positioned herself against the barn's charming backdrop, with the soft glow of sunlight filtering through the hayloft windows. The rustic setting was everything she had envisioned for her social media feed. With a few quick clicks, she began capturing her picturesque moments, grinning widely as each frame displayed her in various poses alongside the horses. The animals, initially curious and friendly, seemed to tolerate her presence, nuzzling her gently as she snapped away. Karen laughed at their antics, feeling like a true influencer in that moment. "This is going to blow up my feed," she thought, envisioning the likes and comments flooding in from her followers. She moved from horse to horse, attempting to capture their best angles. One horse in particular caught her eye, a striking chestnut with a mane that shimmered in the light. Eager to get a closer shot, she edged toward it, positioning herself for the perfect photograph. "Just one more," she exclaimed as she leaned in closer, completely absorbed in her quest for social media stardom. As she flashed her phone's camera right in the horse's face, however, things took a turn for the worse. The horse's demeanor shifted, its ears pinned back, and an unmistakable tension rippled through its body. Karen was too focused on her shot to notice the warning signs. With a sudden and powerful kick, the horse reacted to what it perceived as an unwelcome invasion of its space. In an instant, Karen found herself airborne, propelled backwards into a pile of hay that cushioned her fall but shattered her illusion of invincibility. As she lay there amidst the straw, reality began to set in. This was not how she had imagined her day would unfold. As Karen settled into her selfie session, the atmosphere within the barn shifted subtly. What initially felt like a whimsical adventure began to crack with tension. The horses, once curious and playful, started to exhibit signs of discomfort. The air thickened as Karen's enthusiasm blinded her to the animal's signals, each click of her camera growing more intrusive. Approaching the temperamental chestnut horse, she leaned in closer, completely unaware of the unease radiating from the creature. Its ears flicked back defensively, and its body tensed. Still, Karen pressed on, convinced that her followers would love a shot of her in close proximity to such a stunning animal. In her mind, this moment was golden, an influencer's dream. With each flash of her camera, the horse's patience wore thinner. Karen giggled and posed, oblivious to the mounting agitation that surrounded her. The other horses shifted uneasily in their stalls, sensing the impending confrontation but unable to intervene. It was as if time slowed down, the barn filled with an electric tension that hinted at an unavoidable clash. Suddenly, in a swift and instinctive response to what it deemed a threat, the horse lashed out. The massive kick was both powerful and unexpected, sending shockwaves through the air as Karen was propelled backwards. The world around her spun for a moment before she landed in a soft yet humiliating heap of hay. As she lay there, stunned and disoriented amidst the straw, the reality of her actions began to sink in. Her heart raced not just from shock but also from embarrassment as she contemplated how she would explain this incident, both to herself and to anyone who would later hear her story. The playful adventure had escalated into chaos in mere seconds, setting the stage for an unforgettable encounter that no amount of editing could erase from her memory. The moment Karen leaned in too close, the tension in the barn reached a breaking point. The chestnut horse, feeling cornered by this intruder with a flashing camera, had only one instinctive response: to protect itself. In an explosive reaction, it kicked out with all its might, powerful motion that sent Karen reeling backward. Time seemed to slow as she flew through the air, her expression shifting from excitement to shock. The world blurred around her, and she felt the soft embrace of hay as she landed in a dramatic tumble. The impact knocked the wind out of her, leaving her momentarily stunned. Laughter echoed faintly in her mind as she processed what had just happened. This was not how she envisioned her day unfolding. As she lay amidst the hay, the horse stood a few paces away, its body relaxed but alert, eyes fixed on Karen with a mix of curiosity and caution. The other horses in the barn watched with expressions that seemed to say they had witnessed this kind of foolishness before. The chestnut horse had made its point clear. It would not tolerate intrusion without consequence. Disoriented and embarrassed, Karen scrambled to her feet, brushing off the hay that clung to her clothes. Panic surged through her as she realized the absurdity of the situation. She had trespassed into someone's private space and now found herself on the receiving end of a swift lesson in respect from a horse. In a flurry of indignation and disbelief, she turned to run out of the barn, shouting claims that the horse had attacked her. But as she fled, she couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps this encounter was more than just an unfortunate accident. It was a wake-up call about boundaries and respect for nature, lessons that no social media post could ever convey. Karen stumbled to her feet, still dazed from the unexpected encounter. Her heart raced, a mix of shock and embarrassment coursing through her veins. The initial thrill of her little escapade had evaporated, replaced by a deep sense of panic. She glanced back at the horse, which stood calmly, its head lowered as if it had merely defended its territory against an intruder. With adrenaline pumping, she turned and bolted for the barn's exit, her high-pitched voice echoing through the wooden structure. "That horse attacked me," she screamed, her words tinged with disbelief and indignation. It felt surreal to her. This wasn't how she imagined her day would go. Instead of capturing Instagram-worthy moments, she was now fleeing in fear. As she burst through the barn door and into the sunlight, Karen's mind raced to formulate a narrative that would garner sympathy from anyone who might listen. She envisioned herself sharing the tale with her followers, spinning it into a dramatic story of her courageous encounter with an aggressive animal. "I can't believe this happened to me," she thought, already crafting the captions in her head. But as she dashed away from the barn, her thoughts turned bitter. Karen couldn't shake the feeling that she had crossed a line that should have never been blurred in pursuit of social media fame. As she reached the locked gate, she paused for just a moment, glancing back at the barn one last time. In that fleeting second, she caught sight of the security camera positioned above the entrance, its little red light blinking steadily. Panic surged again as reality set in. Not only would there be witnesses to her folly, but there was also video evidence of her trespass. With a final glance at the barn and its unwitting guardian, Karen hurried away, leaving behind not just a pile of hay, but also a lesson learned, albeit one she was yet to fully understand. Once Karen fled the barn, the homeowner, having noticed the commotion, decided to review the security footage from the cameras installed around the property. Little did Karen know, her impulsive adventure had been documented in vivid detail. As the homeowner sat down to watch the recordings, a mix of disbelief and amusement washed over them. The video revealed Karen's entire escapade, from her daring climb over the locked gate to her enthusiastic selfies with the unsuspecting horses. The footage showcased her obliviousness, capturing her laughter and carefree poses as she interacted with the animals, completely ignoring any signs of discomfort from the horses. The homeowner couldn't help but chuckle at her antics. It was clear that she had no regard for boundaries or the need for respect in someone else's space. Then came the pivotal moment. The camera caught Karen inching closer to the temperamental chestnut horse, her phone flashing repeatedly in its face. The horse's agitation was palpable on screen. Its ears flicked back, and it shifted uneasily. In an instant, everything escalated as the horse delivered a swift kick, sending Karen tumbling into the hay. The shock on her face was unmistakable, and even more comical was her subsequent scramble to get up and flee while shouting that she had been attacked. With a wry smile, the homeowner realized they had not only captured a humorous incident, but also irrefutable evidence of Karen's trespass. They knew this footage would be pivotal in addressing any fallout from the incident, especially when it came to explaining her actions to the HOA. Armed with this undeniable proof, the homeowner felt a sense of satisfaction. They could now set the record straight about what had really happened in their barn that day, ensuring that Karen would have to confront not only her own recklessness but also the consequences of her actions. After reviewing the security footage, the homeowner knew they had to take action. They felt a sense of responsibility not just to their property, but to the safety of the horses that had been put at risk by Karen's reckless behavior. With a sense of resolve, they decided to file trespassing charges against her. The decision to pursue legal action was not taken lightly, but the homeowner understood that allowing this incident to go unaddressed could pave the way for future intrusions. They gathered all necessary evidence, including the video footage that clearly documented Karen's unauthorized entry and her reckless handling of the horses. The homeowner meticulously prepared their case, ready to present it if needed. In the days that followed, the news of Karen's escapades spread through the community like wildfire. The homeowners association was abuzz with gossip and speculation about her antics. When Karen was summoned to explain herself at the next HOA meeting, she found herself in an uncomfortable position. No longer was she the influencer seeking admiration. Instead, she stood as a subject of ridicule and scrutiny. As she attempted to spin her version of events, claiming she had merely wanted a cute backdrop for her social media posts, the homeowner presented the security footage. With undeniable clarity, it showed Karen climbing over the gate and invading private property without permission. The room fell silent as members watched in disbelief, witnessing firsthand how her desire for internet fame had led to reckless decisions. Faced with overwhelming evidence and community disapproval, Karen realized she was cornered, not just by the legal consequences but also by her own actions. The homeowner's decision to press charges served as a stark reminder that actions have repercussions, especially when they cross boundaries meant to protect both people and animals. The day of the HOA meeting arrived, and tension hung thick in the air as Karen took her seat among the members. She could feel the curious glances and whispered conversations directed her way, a stark contrast to the adoration she usually received on social media. This was not the glamorous life she portrayed online, and she was acutely aware of it. As the meeting commenced, the homeowners stood up to present their case against Karen. With confidence, they recounted the events leading up to the incident, detailing how Karen had trespassed into their barn, disregarding both property rights and animal safety. The room listened intently, some shaking their heads in disbelief at her audacity. When the homeowner played the security footage, gasps filled the room. Members watched as Karen climbed over the locked gate, flashing her camera with glee, completely oblivious to the boundaries she was crossing. The footage captured her interaction with a horse in excruciating detail, the moment she leaned in too close, only to be met with a swift kick that sent her crashing into a pile of hay. Laughter erupted amongst some of the attendees, but others looked concerned for both Karen and the horse. As the video ended, silence settled over the room again. Karen's face flushed with embarrassment as she realized she had become a laughingstock in her own community. Attempting to defend herself, she stammered that she meant no harm and only wanted a cute photo. But her words fell flat against the evidence presented. The HOA members were not swayed by her excuses. They discussed how such reckless behavior could set a dangerous precedent for future trespassers. In that moment, Karen recognized that this confrontation was not just about her actions. It was about community standards and respect for one another's property. The atmosphere shifted from one of curiosity to one of accountability, leaving Karen to face not just judgment but also a significant lesson about boundaries, one that would follow her long after the meeting ended. In the aftermath of the HOA meeting, the homeowner felt a mix of satisfaction and vindication. While they had addressed Karen's reckless behavior, they also wanted to ensure that the lesson would not be forgotten, neither by her nor by anyone else who might think about trespassing in the future. Inspired by a blend of humor and a sense of justice, the homeowner devised a plan for their ultimate revenge. With a mischievous smile, they decided to name the temperamental chestnut horse Karen's lesson. It was a fitting tribute to the unexpected turn of events that had unfolded. The name would serve as both a reminder and a warning to anyone who dared to cross boundaries without considering the consequences. But that wasn't all. The homeowner took it a step further by crafting a handmade sign to place at the barn entrance. Bold letters proclaimed, "Beware, this horse hates influencers." The sign was designed with playful graphics depicting a horse kicking and a smartphone flying through the air. It was meant to be lighthearted yet firm, making it clear that disrespecting the barn's privacy would not be taken lightly. The sign quickly became a topic of conversation in the community. Passers-by stopped to snap photos with it, sharing laughs and stories about Karen's escapade. The homeowner reveled in the fact that their barn had become somewhat of a local attraction, all while sending a strong message about respecting personal space. As for Karen, she found herself on the receiving end of jokes and commentary through social media channels she once dominated. Her attempts to downplay the incident only added fuel to the fire of public amusement. In this way, the homeowner's clever retaliation not only protected their property, but also transformed an embarrassing moment into a lasting lesson for everyone involved, an unforgettable reminder that actions have consequences, especially when it comes to trespassing in pursuit of likes and shares. As the dust settled from the chaotic events at the barn, both the homeowner and the community found themselves reflecting on the incident with a mix of humor and disbelief. What had started as a simple day of tending to horses had turned into an unforgettable saga, one that would be retold with laughter for years to come. The homeowner couldn't help but chuckle at how quickly things had escalated. They'd gone from enjoying a peaceful afternoon to becoming an unwilling participant in a comedic tale of trespassing gone wrong. The hilarity of Karen's dramatic exit, complete with screams and hay flying everywhere, had become a beloved story among neighbors, drawing smiles and laughter whenever it was recounted. As for the horse, now affectionately dubbed Karen's lesson, it seemed to thrive under its newfound fame. The warning sign had become something of a local landmark, drawing attention from curious passers-by eager to snap photos and share in a joke. The humor behind the situation had transformed what could have been a stressful ordeal into a lighthearted community event, reminding everyone about the importance of respecting boundaries. Meanwhile, Karen found herself facing an unexpected backlash. Social media platforms, once a realm of influence, turned against her as users shared clips of her misadventure. Memes sprang up overnight, and hashtags like #KarenGotKicked trended for days. It was a dose of reality that she hadn't anticipated, one that highlighted how quickly public perception can shift. In retrospect, this incident served as a valuable lesson for all involved. Actions have consequences, and respect for property is paramount. The humorous spin on an unfortunate situation helped foster camaraderie within the community, proving that sometimes laughter is the best way to deal with chaos. As they moved forward, everyone knew they'd carry the story not just as a cautionary tale, but as a reminder to find humor in life's little mishaps.